Hey there everybody, it's Mike DeLisio with another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at Titans, coming from designer Lucas Wozniak, and I really hope I got that close, and publisher Go On Board Games. This is the Kickstarter Deluxe version, which includes the Banner of Glory expansion, so I wanted to make sure to point that out because what you see inside this box may be different depending on whatever version of the game you might encounter. The ghost of war reared its head over Europe and enveloped her with its bloody shroud. And what will you do now, my king? Will you sit on your golden stool and watch your country waste away? Or will you heed my call, grab your mace, and ride to the defense of your people against the enemy at the gate? Become a king of a great nation, send your army with the mighty Titan, and claim victory over the continent. All right, 1 to 4 players, 80 to 160 minutes. Lead a nation, build your army, fight for control. So this looks like a big epic game, perhaps some area control, troops on a map. Certainly has a very, very striking cover there. I happen to think that's a pretty impressive looking cover. I like that artwork there, very dynamic. All right, so we've got a number of things going on here. It looks like we've got different expansions involved. We've got the Banner of Glory, all right, that has some extra components and setup and changes to the gameplay. We've got the Echoes of the Past. So again, I think these are all expansions that are built into this deluxe version of the game. And then we've got the Monuments here, and it describes those and how they work. And we've got a solo mode, which is something that I am very, very happy about because I am a solo player. Okay. The Nation Components explanation. It says, if this is your first time playing Titans, you don't need to read this rulebook. The other rulebook is the main rulebook. It contains all you need to say, or set up and play. This contains the nation. Oh, it's both. Okay. This has a Nation Components explanation and the solo mode with setup scenarios. And so this is another couple of expansion type things here with explanations of these. And then these go into a lot of detail, which is nice. And this is the solo mode here, okay? Which it looks like it says it's going to be using 12 Automa cards played against an AI opponent. All right? And so it shows you how that works as well. All right, well, let's take a look at this main rule book here because this is going to be the kind of the meat of the game. It contains the rules you need to know in order to set up and play the full 2 to 4 player game. Okay. Here we've got our game components in an illustrated manner, showing off the different components that are available within the game. All right, here's the setup with the main board showing drafting secret objective cards, purchasing their nation cards. And then we've got the gameplay overview. It's divided into 3 rounds. They take their turns and they go in clockwise order. Each round, players take 4 turns in a 2 to 3 player game or 3 turns in a 4 player game. All right. And it goes into an example on how this order deck works. The player currently taking the turn is called the active player, and their turn is divided into 4 phases. The order phase, resolving battles, drawing a support card, and cleanup phase. It says movement actions often end in battle. All right. Obviously, this game looks like it's going to have a strong battling component. All right. And it goes into more detail for each of these phases. The order phase, where you're going to be moving your units, it looks like, purchasing nation cards. And then it goes into, I do like the illustrated examples here. Resolving battles, general battle rules, beginning of the battles, the defender stage. It looks like battling is going to be a big part of this game, as you might expect. Looks like there's going to be dice rolling to resolve these battles. A whole lot about battle, so this is going to be probably a big part of the game. And then ending the round, awarding victory points for regions, and then end of the game. As I said earlier, the game ends after 3 rounds. And then you've got some different game modes, a free army setup, the capital takeover, extended gameplay, advanced game mode. So lots of different ways to play it. Scenarios set up for different numbers of players. Okay. 3-player scenario setups. and 4-player scenario setups. And then a glossary. Whoops. And then it looks like the distribution of the battle dice, secret objective cards, nation cards, support cards, and then a overview on the back there. Okay. This is nice too. I always appreciate when you're getting things that are specific to a Kickstarter Deluxe edition that you get a booklet that clearly defines what that is. So that's nice. Changes in rules, changes in the setup for this King's Emissaries. Okay. And then we've got the Spirit of War and the Titan's Power. So it looks like this is a very modular game. Valhalla, Titan's Power. Lots of different ways to play the game. And explanations as to how those expansions change the state of the game. All right, so I can see some miniatures. That is not a huge surprise here. But first, let's see if we can take a look at the board. This is a very large board. I'm zooming out as much as I can here. I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of a sliding effect. So you can kind of see the board here. And it looks like this is a 2-sided board. All right, it is. I'll show this as well. All right. Very large board, 2-sided. Now let's zoom back in a bit and take a look at the other components here. I'm going to save these big minis for the last. Let's look at some cardboard components. These look to be standees. The cardboard quality is fine. The artwork, I think, is nice. We've got some hex tiles, some banners, more hex tiles that are a little bit more colorful than the others, some money here. Look to be player boards, double-sided player boards. Some pretty epic art involved on that. All right. Definitely a very, very striking art style. We've got some cubes. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the cubes. There's too many other things that are clearly impressive in nature. That's some wooden cubes. Well, hey, look, nothing wrong with wooden cubes. They've served very well in board gaming over the years, so I don't want to disparage wooden cubes. But here we have some custom D6s etched. Very nice. We've got some more custom D6s here. A bold purple color here. All right, very nice. And we've got some, what I believe are primarily battle dice. They're again all custom engraved dice. Got a whole lot of cards, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to open up all these cards. It's just, this can't last as long as it would take to open up all those cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this big deck of the large size cards. We'll flip through these just so you can get an idea of the art and maybe the card layout and the iconography. All right. These are very nice quality cards, I will say that. They have a linen finish on them. They feel nice and got a nice snap to them. Well, I really like the look of these cards. Iconography seems to be easy to see. I can't tell you at this point whether the iconography is clear or makes intuitive sense. That's really something that only comes about when you're playing the game. Some of it looks to be more complex than others, but none of the cards to me appear to be too busy or cluttered or hard to make out. That's something that I think you can just say without playing the game. I don't know if the iconography is good. These look to be some player aid cards. Or no, these are Automa cards, almost for sure. When you see, that looks like an AI type of a thing, although I could be wrong, but usually this signifies like an AI, a robot player type of a thing. But again, that's some really nice looking art on these cards. I think this gives you a pretty good idea on what many of these cards are going to look like, okay? And then let's look at one of the decks of small cards. I'll choose the larger deck of the small cards so you can get more of a representation here. All right, so these look to be goal cards. Control 5 regions only with your control tokens. Yeah, these all look to be goal cards, which I don't know if they're in the standard game or if maybe that's part of a variant. It's hard to tell. There's a whole lot. Again, it looks like a very modular game with a lot of different ways to tailor the game experience to your liking. All right. And we've got some little minis hiding down here. Let's take a look at some of these. All right. Get an idea of the level of detail of those. These are little ones. All right. So, level 1, the lower level of the game. I think we have a pretty good idea what's happening there. Let's put this back where it was, and let's look at the bigger plastic. Okay, so first of all, we've got these bases for the Titans, presumably. Okay, colored bases. We also have these structures. I don't know exactly what they are, but I do know that the minis are cool. I like those quite a bit. You get a sense for those. Very nice. Let's look at the different armies here. I'm going to try to show you at least one representation of each of the different sculpts. Okay, so here's a winged cavalry. Very nice. Here is a structure. I don't know if it's maybe your capital or not sure. Got a cannoneer. And these probably all have thematic names, and I'm just calling them whatever comes to mind, but I think you get the general idea here. We've got maybe a foot soldier. All right, is there anyone else that's not represented? Nope, that's everybody. So that's the red player. I want to take a quick gander at maybe one of the other colors to see if the models are different. And if they're not, then I don't need to show those off because we've kind of gotten an idea. Okay. Yes, it does look like these models are essentially the same, just in the different player colors. All right, so let's look at our Titans, shall we? The game is named after them. So let's take a good look at these minis. These are really nice to my eyes. I'm sure if they were painted, they would look spectacular. Wow, this guy's no joke. A lot of swords here. If 2 swords aren't enough, come with 4. Okay. Or this massive axe. It looks like it's made of stone. Yeah, these are, again, to my eyes, these are nice minis. I am not an expert at this. I've said that many times. I just know what I think looks nice, and I think these look very nice. It's a very big weapon there as well. But again, these are Titans. They're supposed to be towering above the rest, right? And so that gives you a nice sense of scale here. All right, well, this is a game that certainly looks like there is a lot involved. There are a lot of components. There are a lot of variants. And there are also some extras to the Kickstarter that we received that I'm not even necessarily showing off here. This is kind of the main Kickstarter deluxe box that I'm showing. That is Titans. Thank you for watching another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing.